I'm shitting and pissing and crying all at the same time. Honestly, I'm just impressed. That's like a lot to juggle. I would call somebody and be like, yo, you gotta check this out. Alright, let's get it going. Hello! Welcome back. Hello, Waffle. How's it going? I say welcome back. It's the normal time for us to do things. So it's really not like a big surprise, like, oh, I'm back after a long period. It's me. I'm here again, as I always am. Well, usually, anyways. Oops, I mean, hit that button. This is the button I meant to hit. Move you over here, which I think is about here-ish. Probably fine. I did call somebody saying the that exact thing, but more like, bro, check it out, I'm pissing and crying and shitting at the same time. They weren't ready for your enthusiasm. That's their problem. Alright. We're back. We're playing more of this. And things have gotten... They haven't really gotten anything, to be honest. It's pretty much as weird as we thought it would be. And it has been for the entire time. The characters are exactly what you would expect, and the plot is as insane as usual. But yeah, how you doing? What have you been up to? I was at a family reunion yesterday, and it was decent. It was a family reunion, as they typically are. I reunited with family, and I will most likely not see most of them again until next year. Midgardstormer has the word mid in his name. He is mid. Yeah, it checks out. What does my cat want out? Hey. You. Yeah, you. You're gonna be a psychopath, or you're gonna be cool while I'm streaming? Going up? No? Nope. Cat cam. What did you do to your ear? Get into another fight. You have a tendency of doing that. I want my relationship with hot single giant crystal god lady thing back already for real on God. Yeah. The relationship with Midgardstormer is a side grade. I like the crystal. Crystal mommy is pretty great. But you'll just have to wait and see how things go. Anyways, yes, hello. You seem energetic, like you're about to go insane. That is the thing you typically do at around this time of night. But maybe you'll be cool for once. That would be an interesting idea. My extended break from F14 was about 12 to 24 hours. Yeah, I noticed that. I saw you were playing, oh, there he goes again. You were playing F14 again, and I was just like, weren't you gonna take a break after you finished the extremely long cutscene? And, I guess that is not the case. But, I mean, if you're enjoying it, who fucking cares? What, did you, I assume you finished those cutscenes and you made it to Heavensward, so. Where are you in, Heavensward now? I imagine you're not super far in, because you just finished that huge cutscene. Heavensward kind of takes a while to get going. A lot of just, like, discovering zones and being like, oh, we're trying to get to a specific place. So that'll happen for a while. All right. Mr. Loon's balloon. So last we left off here, I believe we are in the process of proving that a balloon did not explode or did explode. I think did explode because I have that piece of charred fabric, and this guy's like, "Oh, none of it exploded." When we have clear evidence that it did. And I just chased a dude and killed heretics and talked to Ice Lady. Okay, yeah, so you're like in the first zone, I think. First like 1 or 2 zones. Pretty sure I know where you are. Alright. As I said, Balthazar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe! Spent more time getting to level 52 and 54 bard skills. Makes sense. But you can't get away from the fact that a bit of cloth was found at the scene, can you? The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway. Okay, that's actually pretty important. Navigating the area of Falcon's Nest is in without flying as hell. Yes, that is a consistent and valid criticism of Heavensward, which is because they just introduced flying. The zones when you don't have flying in them are just wide open and like awful to navigate. They fixed that with Stormblood, or at least I feel like it gets a lot better in Stormblood. But yeah, that is super annoying about Heavensward. Is just the zones are gigantic. So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you? Si, exactamente, if he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war. One balloon, please. God, here you go. What happened to all-out war? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying. That doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witnesses' statements, the court must consider them the truth. Also, Toby Fox is remixing Touhou music for the Touhou Rhythm game, and the reveal trailer was so fucking funny. That's dope. Touhou music is great, and Toby Fox is great, so I'm now immediately interested in whatever that is. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes. Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses. It's also You and Owen Was Her, and I think you said you like that Touhou track. I do. One of the classics. Okay. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. They fell to the ground in an explosion. What a catastrophe. It was all fairly straightforward. It's really this statement in particular that I want to press. I want to get more information about like what specifically makes his balloons unique. You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. Those belong to my brother. Luigi Loon. And yet a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. I was pretty surprised it took them as long to collab, though, considering Toby Fox at Touhou is a huge inspiration to him. Yeah. I mean, that's like 2 huge games / franchises in the case of Touhou that are just like complete one-man bands. That's sick as fuck. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There had been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you'd agree.
Believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition.
Si, exactamente. As the signor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly, this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw, okay? That was fast. Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottsrich Sigismund Ornstein. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a great balloon there. I swear it. I swear all over Bohemia.
You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. Oh yes, the balloon. If you do not have evidence, ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Evidence? What is this evidence?
Give a simple example, young man. Photograph, for instance, some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph.
Well, fuck. I mean, he's a kid, so I can't be that mad, but I'm still mad. Come on! Oh, it's my cat playing with his toy.
Good gracious.
What?
I had not been in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited.
Oh shit, you said that the whole time?
I took lots and lots of photographs. Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon.
And the instantaneous kinesis experiment? Did you take a picture of that? Dude, somebody on this writing staff must have played like Ace Attorney 1 recently and was just like, oh, you know who was a great character? Fucking Cody Hackins. Let's get that guy back in some capacity. Great.
Yeah, fun picture.
Count 4 Tom seems sus to me, considering I just saw a coup and old everyone looks sus. That's fair. You're kind of low on trust right now. It's still pretty early in Heavensward. It's kind of hard to tell character motivations and shit. Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was a ride in the balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments.
Oh, never mind that. Can you show us that photograph?
Of course, and then you will see. You will see that I am not lying, that I really did see a green balloon.
Oh. Jesus, is that a fucking, like, bullet midway to hitting that balloon?
Well, I see you are all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it is what was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. Va!
That is one very bohemian-sounding cry. Alright, I get it.
Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence.
Trial's gonna end with the victim faking the experiment to scam the government out of grant money? Yeah, I think you're right.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was the day of the big explosion.
You don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred.
Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing.
I could not give the flying fig. The expression is a flying fuck, but good try. Lovely language you've picked up. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young Bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon. Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. I think what I have to present on is the, yeah, the thing where it's like all 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. But, like, I don't think... Because this photograph doesn't really prove that it's his balloon. It just proves that a balloon did blow up. Because we have a picture of it. Balloons of red and blue zigzag. Yeah, and it has the zigzag stripe should be visible on the balloon. So I don't know exactly how this picture helps us. Where's the Heaven's Word? They said the thing. Roll credits. They actually say the like word Heaven's Word. I think a couple different times in Heaven's Word, and it's like the only expansion that does that. I don't think Stormblood or Shadowbringers does that, or Endwalker. But for whatever reason, they were just like, we're gonna say the title in Heaven's Word, and that's... They said it in the intro. Okay, yeah, I was right. It's very odd. What are we, some kind of Shadowbringers? I guess I'll keep pressing, I think, because I don't know... There might be another statement in here I have to open up. You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe?
Signor, I might not know this if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons.
But when the Warrior of Light said we really do be Endwalkers and walk to the end all over the place. Yeah, that's actually how Endwalker ends. Kind of a spoiler, but you know, not a huge one.
You believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive?
I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons. It would appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task.
What, me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like making known who can up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss bought it and said he'd have to...
Oh, that's a lot of apostrophes.
Bought and said he'd have to go himself in that case.
Fucking bottle of water over here. Like how DL's alternate universe counterpart steals a part of Jesus Christ to get a stand that turns him into a dinosaur. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what is like that. But alright. Keep pressing. Would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. Oh, how it's a spoiler but makes no sense? I see. Yeah, you're totally right. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? That's fucking, that's Scary Monsters, right? Is the name of that stand? I can't believe I remember that.
Are you an idiota?
Sorry?
That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and the balloon flies because it flies. What else?
It is Scary Monsters, nice. That must be Italian for I don't know. Think fuck Alphino got put in jail.
There are 2 types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air.
See, and my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe.
Hydrogen, lighter than air, but highly explosive.
Good lord. I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire.
Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode.
What is the matter with you, signor? All that comes out of your mouth is esplosione, esplosione. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day. I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Okay. I mean, that last statement that I made seems like something I could fucking present on, but... Tataru's full name is Tataru Taru. It's adorable. Yeah. Actually, all, I think it's all Plainsfolk Lalafell? I forget which, like, sub-race of Lalafell it is. But they always have names that are, like, they sort of, like, rhyme. So, like, it's like Tataru Taru, Teleji Adeleji, stuff like that. It's, like, culturally how their names work. It's like, the... Whatever sub-race of Rogadin have just, like, fucking Hoary Frost and Craggy Mountain as a name. Okay. I think I'm gonna keep pressing. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything by pressing. Or by not pressing. I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. Always works out way better. Diving into people's pockets instead. So much for the new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is, though, the cage went crashing into the Crystal Tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence. Cool, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it. There was talk of some scorching on the ground at a meeting we had about the investigation. Okay. Another great thing I think I would like to have as a proper statement, but... Am I proving the boy's innocence by beating someone's ass? Yeah, you're basically fighting on his behalf. It's like a champion bout. Because that's how they do things in Ishgard.
Hold it!
Fight for your honor! There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there? I think I might have to take my cat outside. He's freaking out slightly. Hey. Yeah, you. Fucking there he goes. Alright. Hang on. One sec. Sorry about that. More legal systems should do this. Yeah, some of the codes. Oh, I should unplug my controller before I forget. Or it starts rattling on the desk. Some of the codes what were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Oh, did the game crash? Nope, we're good. It froze for a second. It didn't like me unplugging that. Whoops. Good job, dog. Contraption didn't kill over, eh? I hadn't even considered that. It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions. Oh, okay, maybe... Is he gonna get his salary slashed? Maybe he is an ancestor of Gumshoe. Like me swiping all of his fish and chips, eh? And so pleasure. None of this matters. That scrap balloon ambulance means nothing. Niente. Okay. I think it's this that I have to present on.
Like all three of my balloons were carrying passengers, and it was like, well, this one wasn't, but I don't know. I'm gonna save here. Just in case.
Objection!
It is that one. Alright, cool. Ow. Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon. But it can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Ah, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise. See, they are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So, when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
Hey, I know nothing. Niente. Hey, I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Yeah, it's also missing the zigzags, so.
Oh, there are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look.
He was in on the scam? Yeah, he seems very concerned about this.
Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Exhibition, and managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing.
See, the competizione trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage.
This fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below.
Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention.
A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader. Clearly it has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
But that I can have 3 skill hotbars and make skill organization much easier. You can have like up to 10, I think. I use 3, I think. 3 is really all you need, but you can have lots. The HUD layout gets very customizable if you decide to make it that way. Which, if you didn't know, on the far right options, there's an option for a HUD layout to totally customize it. Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. Using 3, 1 for damage skills, 2 for in-combat buffs and movement, and 3 for healing and traveling. Yeah, you can also have a hotbar that's shared between all of your classes. It's kind of... I forget exactly how to set it up, but it's doable. And you can put, like, your teleport, your, like, mount roulettes, or, like, whatever mount you're using, sprint, stuff like that. You can put that on a... on, like, a shared hotbar between all your classes. Which is what I do. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There's more. What's this fucking beam of light?
Objection!
Ow! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait! Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
Oh, what were these accents again?
A vital clue?
Objection!
Nope, that's the balloon guy's thing.
Oh, we're well past the point of mere possibilities.
Figure that we're never decided to do another class. Yeah, if you only have one, it doesn't really matter, but it's good to have if you have multiple.
It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove?
Probably gonna be if and when I get the complete edition and get all the bard skills. Makes sense. I think it shows the balloon's owner? Because it doesn't have the zigzags? The owner of the fourth balloon. That's what this photograph tells us.
How can this be possible? See, all of my balloons have red and blue zigzag stripes. But this photograph is black and white. It is useless.
Well, at the very least, we can see that the balloon doesn't have any stripes. And consequently, we know that it can't belong to you.
Congratulations, you've narrowed the field of everyone in the world by 1.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
That is what you call proof of the balloon's owner, Council.
Can I at least get points for a logical argument?
I'll come up with another possibility then.
Objection.
Well past the point of your possibility, so tell the court. Okay, so if it's not that, then I think it's the cause of the explosion. It's that beam of light. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection.
No, that's not what happened. Oh, is it because it has an open flame, so it's not a hydrogen balloon? No, that is absolutely not it. But we do see that fucking projectile, so maybe it's that? I don't know.
What? It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. Oh, it's the fucking crossbow. That makes sense. In a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is right here.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon.
Most likely a ray of light caught incidentally on the film. I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
Goodness, what is that? Undeniably some flash of light, yes.
Oh, golly, do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe me may be looking at fire.
A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, everything, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection.
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection.
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what did happen.
What evidence? If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man. Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
Crossbow.
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
This accent's getting deeper and deeper into my throat. An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon.
Are you suggesting that crossbow was used deliberately?
Blimey, you're right. That streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it? Then, the explosion of the balloon, it was...
Ow! Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it.
No! Order! Order! Counsel, this is extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge, of course.
That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently. Well, yeah, if someone had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't think the machine exploded at all. I think the balloon was the only thing that exploded. I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all of this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend?
If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. What? Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or... what? My goodness me! Now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. What? Did I just hear that correctly, Council? Ah! There's no going back now. The horse is bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. And at that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their head. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day. Miraculous experiment carried out that day. Yes, Good grief! I heard that if you play as a Mikote during the Monster Hunter collab, you can say a talking cat to the Palico NPC and it responds with "Look who's talking." I think that's correct. I believe I've heard the same.
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemptible display of stage magic.
Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the Crystal Tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3. All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman. And having this other man appear on stage to front the show as a body double. Yes, of course. So in fact... Ow! Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the 4 winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend on the mixture ratio. Juror number 4. This is the most work the jury has ever done for me. Jesus Christ. They're coming in clutch for me. Flying balloons are really filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns that would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render the whole obscene charade impossible. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. Hope Raban gets a cool-ass Magitech prosthetic arm. I hate to break it to you.
Doesn't happen. Weirdly enough, prosthetics are really not a thing.
The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with.
Oh, in short, oh, my hands.
He couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time.
Ugh.
Huge missed opportunity. His arm/shoulder armor was already super rad. I agree. This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zieks can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrained is a suspect now. Harebrained, don't you fucking dare. I swear to God, don't do it.
Oh, come on. Fuck's sake. No. You fucking just keep your mouth shut. Like, just don't talk, please.
Fuck. For fuck's sake.
Like, just don't.
Miss Naruto, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harebrained? I, Albert Harebrained, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odie Asman. He's trying to fucking take the blame so his theory doesn't get busted. Oh my god, you're the worst defendant in this entire fucking franchise. Are you kidding me? Not even the guy in Trials and Tribulations was this bad. Fuck. Yes, it was me, with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing? Order, order, order! I don't like Meryl Webb's new voice. Yeah, it's a downgrade. I miss her old voice, but they replaced everybody. Defendant, explain this sudden confession. Ow! Professor Harebrained, what are you talking about? It's too soft, if that makes sense? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I agree. It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, all an elaborate prank, but where's your proof? Oh, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. Oh, it's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove. Eric! Yes? I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please, ensure the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation. One second.
Sorry, someone pulled into my driveway and I was like, what are you doing? But I think they were just turning around. Brown's gonna fall asleep midstream Mathos style. Has he fallen asleep midstream? I think I've noticed that. How's it going, RSI? Oh, it was you? Oh, cool. Just wanted to make sure you were at the right house. Here to steal my cheese. Not my cheese. Fucking love cheese. Can we get a shout out for RSI, please?
Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice at this critical juncture. But I really need to get fucked up right now. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend.
Oh, Toaster's not here. I'll do it. There you go. He has. Just chilling in Canmore. Nice. Hope you're enjoying it. We're just doing more of what we do. What?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply.
Nalfino has to talk about the Crystal Braves. I can hear the resentment in his voice. Yeah. The whole thing about the Crystal Braves betraying the Scions and like causing all of that shit to go down is the thing that changes his character from now on. That's the thing that starts his character arc.
The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. Oh, excuse me. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and the instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved. Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
His higher than thou personality was so annoying, yeah. Like when he first showed up when you were getting the speeches from all the grand company leaders and he just has all those fucking snarky comments about how they're all not so great. Oh god, I could have powerbombed him through a table. And I'm a Lalafell. What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence? Or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
Oh, you've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Ooh, this is but the miracle never happened sort of moment. Miss Naruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something, but what? Lore-wise, how long is each expansion in universe? I think they've kept the timeline deliberately vague. Because they want to avoid having to, like, age the twins, primarily, because they're, like, the youngest characters. I think they've said that, like, everything happens... Like, everything in the expansions happens within a year. So, like, everything from, like, Heavensward to Endwalker, or Realm Reborn to Endwalker happens in 1 year. I think that's the timeline. I could be wrong. It's around there, at least. Because they never ever age. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something, but what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact... Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm pretty sure I have to say that it was a conjuring trick. I'm gonna deliberately say the opposite because I think it might be an achievement. And I kinda want to see what happens.
No, I can't say it. My client placed his faith in me. I can't just let him down. What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? Oh, was that actually a non-choice? Oh! What the fuck? Where'd you come from? Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susanoo-san! But what are you... Hiya! Get rotated, idiot! Ah! My first Susanoo takedown in 6 months. There will be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Just working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Oh, Professor Harebrained. And she just got off the boat and her first thought was, for fuck's sakes, I gotta help this fucker again. Oh my god! What would he do without me? Ah, yes. Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? Oh! That your experiment and the machines you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. Ah! Fuck it. God damn it. Fuck it all. Fuck you. Fuck this. So, you finally opened your eyes. What? It's kind of a racist thing to say to a Japanese guy. It's on brand, but fuck, dude. Can't just say that. And as for you, Albert, can't ignore this any longer. Ah. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say? Barak. Lord Van Zeeks. Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing, something I remember that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow. He says X? I mean, kinda, yeah. I beg your pardon? Ow! Professor! Did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and wider than mine. Let me see, one less lens than mine too, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention. What? He built the machine? That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber. I don't know what the pun is there. Yugiri's cute? She is. Enoch Drebber. Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination. Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he? I'm afraid that this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal's after the government's research grant money. When magicians are in need of money, I've heard that them resorting to these underhanded tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before. The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you. Enoch Drebber is named after a man in A Study in Scarlet, Arthur Conan Doyle's very first book with Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. Oh, it's a reference. Interesting.
Oh, this is a new theme.
So it's true then. My invention. My great machine. It was just a grand illusion.
Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it. I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen. But at the same time, I knew that if it was trying to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I'd worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
But you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
Entirely possible that Mr. Asmund and Mr. Drebber are working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Is this the end of the trial? What's happening? Where do we go from here?
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
God, that's a mouthful.
Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Wow, is that it? That was a fast case.
Appear that we shall have to suspend.
Oh, we're suspending for another investigation. Interesting.
But appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zieks, my lord. A court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical. Yes, Mr. Drebber. Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena. With pleasure, my lord. Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When reconvened, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Well, well, well. It looks so cool, the Magic Arm. I don't disagree. 23rd of October, 1:36 p.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber.
Mr. Naruto,
Ah, yes?
I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry.
Did you really have no idea, Professor? Well, what Mr. Drebber was really up to, I mean. About what he was really constructing. Slap him? I would if I could.
Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it.
Alright, in that case, I won't say anymore. Now, sadly, the murder accusation... Now, sadly, the murder accusation... Oh my god, I can't say accusation. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow.
Well, thank you for doing so much for me. Are we gonna talk to Susato? Okay, here we go. It faded to black and it was like, are we leaving? Hello? I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruto. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive. Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Runo, so it would be a surprise. Well, did it work? I was surprised, all right, especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future.
Susie's train was late to London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so we didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh!
Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you. Back in London.
Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruto. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest?
Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion.
Oh,
One of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I can't wait!
Sato-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. To be continued.
All right.
Well, I think we'll call it there for Ace Attorney tonight. It's a little early. I know we're kind of ending like an hour early, but I have to sneeze. Excuse me. I think I had a nose hair that was like tickling the inside of my hair or my inside of my nose. I want 3. You will get 2, and you'll be happy. God damn you, ungrateful children. But yes, we're gonna end Ace Attorney there for tonight. I know it's kind of a short episode for Ace Attorney, but I think this is a good place to end it since it's on a to be continued. And also, if possible, I think getting finishing both the Dark campaign and the final story for Sonic Adventure 2 tonight would be pretty ideal. That'd be nice to get out of the way, and then we can start on something totally new tomorrow. What? I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yes, YouTube, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next episode. Whenever I upload that. So for you, it won't really matter how short this episode is. Bye-bye.